Brali, brali, brali. So of course I will not be speaking any differently than I have done at every lecture we have had before now. There will be no change in the way I'm treating you. For those who were bitterly disappointed last week that we skipped over Bizet's Carmen in lieu of La Traviata, today we're going back to Carmen. And just to let you settle beforehand now, we'll play the prelude to Carmen. Again, this is an opera without an overture. It's a prelude which sets the scene. Many of the motifs that are heard throughout the opera are highlighted during it. The Fate theme, the Toreador's song, and the Habanera, I think, are the ones you'll hear in it. The prelude, which is quite short and sweet, and highlights the use of the orchestra that Bizet's using more than the voices. But we're going to get to all that in a little while. First of all, of course, we become quite traditional that we stand up and get into a circle. Well, if you'd protested loudly enough the first time we did it, wouldn't have happened again. It's your own faults. I started performing in Cork with my debut at the Cork Opera House in the Mikado in the late 1980s. I then studied in Dublin, London and Zurich, and for the last 15 years I'm working professionally throughout Europe, a lot of the time in Germany and some productions here in Ireland, and odd recital tour to America and further afield Japan and New Zealand. The structure of the course itself, we're introducing some of the better known operas, just looking at reasons for certain musical features of them, the progression of music over time, how the structure of operas has changed throughout the 17th, 18th and 19th centuries, right through to the 20th century, when many people would feel that opera isn't as much a part of popular culture as it was in the preceding centuries. The operas we've been dealing with on this course include Carmen and La Traviata, Mozart's The Magic Flute, and Puccini's La Bohème, so right through the structure of the classical music-based opera, right through the Romantic period and the Verismo operas. In many ways, there's not a huge difference between the performance in a theatre situation and lecturing. You've got to have if you're contriving any sort of performance or lecture, there needs to be a definite construction to it. We've been starting the classes normally with an activity to get everyone relaxed and smiling and enjoying themselves, then proceeding with the life story of the particular composer we're dealing with for that lecture. Then we work through one of his more highlighted works and highlight some of the musical numbers from the work, and how then there are constraints for the performance, how different performances, or how the performance styles have changed over the time from its original performances, often under censorship that we don't now have, and how different producers have approached the piece and the challenges for the performer within each opera. Do-do. Okay, we're ready. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
The location here in the CAT Theatre it's ideal. It's a working theatre. We're able to experience the logistical difficulties in difficult productions and different productions, and it helps us to understand the challenges of different productions and helps us to understand them. So from a practical point of view, this club, this theatre, is an ideal location.
Well, the course has brought a whole new view of opera to me. I'm a great lover of opera, and I thought I was extremely knowledgeable, but I have had a whole fresh view from our wonderful facilitator, Nyle Wolfe. We're looking at opera now from the artist's point of view. So we're seeing it from a different angle, and when I go to opera now, I will have a totally different attitude towards what it's all about.
Ooh. Ah, you're a 1. Ah, see, I caught you out. I knew you weren't counting. You've got to keep counting. The main aim of the course is to introduce the basic plot lines and musical highlights of some of the more popular operas, to give participants an appreciation of the performer's perspective in the opera rather than just the audience participation. It's often very interesting more interesting as an audience member to appreciate what's going on backstage rather than just the celluloid a picture of, and what the singer has to do to get through what is often a very difficult 2 or 3 hours on stage, and the challenges presented to the director in revitalising pieces that are already in existence for a number of hundred years in many cases.